Ghostrunner is a game where you play as a cyberpunk ninja, the main villain looks like a certain Spider-Man character, and you can kill anyone you like without consequences, as long as it looked cool. Before I get into the game, I have to read some Steam reviews just to make sure I really want to play it. Me before Ghostrunner. Me when I find out Ghostrunner exists. Bentellect probably reacted to a tweet like this once. Facts. Makes you feel like a robot ninja high on coke with a rocket up your ass. 10 out of 10. You know, if it wasn't for that 10 out of 10, I would have thought that was a negative review, because I don't think a rocket up your ass is a positive thing. I wish Japan was real. The real enemy in this game is the Tetris part. No kidding. Mate, are you saying that the hardest part of the game is the skill tree? The skill tree? Genji on crack. What is it with cocaine and Ghostrunner? Wait, is there cocaine in Ghostrunner? Well, I've just got to go check it out now. The game starts with us learning our first Sigma rule. Sigma rule number 6. Kill people. You might like it. It turns out that that was what we were made to do, and we have no recollection of what has happened before any of this. Like this game. And this game. Oh, and this one too. Wait, how many of these fuckers are there? There's 4.5? How in the hell can you have half a game? How? I'll be right back. I'm just gonna have a talk with the guy that made that decision.
A few minutes later.
Okay, I'm back. Now where were we? Alright, Ghostrunner. Now I've gained control of my character. The list of things we can do are running, jumping, killing, dashing, wall running, killing, taunting. Oh, and did I mention killing? As we make our way through the level, we learn more about the story and characters in the game. It turns out that a mass extinction event called the Burst occurred 100 years ago, which left the Earth uninhabitable. A man called Adam realized this early and began construction of Dharma Tower, the last place on Earth for humanity. As we play through the level, there is a voice in our head, telling us to set him free, and as we have no idea what's going on, we comply. When we complete the level, we go up an elevator, taking us to a higher level. It is at this point that we unlock a new ability called the Gap Jammer, which is essentially a grappling hook that propels you towards stuff, and using this in combat is extremely fun. After clearing up all the enemies, we open a door and find a hand recognition plate. We use it, and a very handsome looking fellow, who turns out to be the Whisperer from earlier, now dubbed as the Architect, as he is Adam. Sort of.
To meet you.
He then tells us,
that is. Now, let's take a look inside. This may feel...
and we are transported to a strange place, where we can't wall run or dash. This is the Cyber Void, and these sections of the game are easily the worst, as they are very slow. We learn here about the main villain Mara, or the Keymaster, who started a coup 20 years before and killed all of the Ghostrunners. She is described by the Architect as a tyrant. It is told that earlier in his past, Mara and the Architect were colleagues, but something changed that. We progress through the Cyber Void, and eventually we are told to go back to the real world, and the quickest way is to jump. In the real world again, and we meet a new character called Zoe, who is a member of the Climbers Rebellion, a group that tried to oppose Mara, and also rebuilt us. Unfortunately, she is the only survivor of the group. She offers to help, so we accept. Architect wasn't so happy with our decision though. In the next level, we are introduced to a new enemy, the machine gun guy. And even though it's the second enemy to be introduced in the game, they are still one of my least favorites. I'm just realizing how cool Ghostrunner is. In fact, I want to be more like him. How do I do that? Oh, Google will probably know. How to kill someone. Ooh, this looks promising. Step 1. Use a rag and chloroform. It will take at least 5 minutes to make your victim unconscious. Step 2. Get a syringe and then carefully inject herb in between the big toe and the second toe. Well, I think I'll note that down just in case I need to use it later.
What do you mean by that?
We then learn what we were called by the climbers. We were named Jack, because we were, quote, jacked up when they found us. And as we progressed through the level, I think I'm getting worse, because this fail was genuinely the saddest thing I have ever seen. This save makes up for it though. Never mind. It is here we learn about Elon Musk's Atma chips, which are basically extensions of the human mind that allow the user to basically have telepathy with technology and to hack things. We also learned that the base district is very poor and not given any rations, so they have to fight to survive, whereas the city is rich and no one has to work or struggle there. It turns out the keys, Mara's henchmen, are retreating from the base district to the city, where we can only presume it's to stop us. Jack, how the hell did you do that? After this, Zoe learns of a plan that's about to occur, where the keys are going to shut down the air filters, which will release the outside air into the 5th sector, and everyone in the 5th sector will die if it's not reversed quickly. This is where we get introduced to our first Cybervoid uplink. Temporary abilities that are granted in specific areas, this one being a constant super slow-mo. After, I almost die here in an embarrassing way, but luckily, I saved it.
Nice cock!
Now that the keys have shut down the main motor, it's a race to find the uplink and restart it. And I'm dawdling around here because I'm lost and can't find my way. After getting unlost and getting through the fan, I'm introduced to a new enemy, which I dub jumpers. They basically jump on you and you have to dodge out of the way.
Get as many civilians as I can to go to 4th and 6th before it's too late.
Stay put.
And after Jack got too cocky, I had to make this remark. You could have killed them all, Jack. And if that death was canon, I wouldn't be wrong. What I forgot to mention is that Jack is not programmed to do any of these things, and he is only saving the 5th sector because of his own choice, showing how he's not just a mindless robot. He has empathy and has feelings, just like a human. When we make it to the Cybervoid section, we have to solve a puzzle, which was pretty easy and definitely didn't take me 10 minutes to complete. After completing the puzzle, everything is back online and the 5th sector is saved. This means we can progress our main mission to kill Mara. And I have a mission for you, viewer. If you watched this far and you aren't subscribed yet, which is likely, please do that right now, and leave a like if you're enjoying the video so far. This part took a lot longer than I'm ready to admit, so I'm just gonna pretend like I did it first try, like an epic gamer. On level 6 we are introduced to a new enemy, which I dub Shielders. They are an enemy that can only be hit from behind, but they turn very slowly, making them a pretty easy target. We then learn how to hack machines, and make them slow down so we can use them as platforms. This is because of the fact that we basically have an Atma chip as a brain, only our one is far more advanced than a human one. It is here we find another Cybervoid uplink, this one being a shuriken, and now I really do see how this is getting you on crack. And that reminds me, I haven't seen any cocaine in this game yet. Maybe I can find my dealer in the city. Wait, my dealer from BTD6, who likes to give monkeys anabolic steroids and hard drugs. Yes, this is a shameless plug. Just watch my BTD6 video already. I spent a long time on it, okay? It is here that I've come across one of the funniest glitches I have ever seen in the game, and to this day I can't replicate it as I have no idea what caused it. What the hell have I just done? Okay. How has this even happened? What feasible thing would make it optimal? May as well see what's underneath the map. Fuck all. We then have to hack the elevator, and to do that we have to go back to the Cybervoid, where we have to solve some simple puzzles. We learned that another Ghostrunner used the elevator before the coup, and a little bit of remnant is still there. This allows us to unlock another ability, called Tempest, which is a burst of air that can push things, a bit like the Force from Star Wars. And of course, we have to do a long and drawn out tutorial that really isn't that fun. When the tutorial's over, we go back to the real world, and we are introduced to a new enemy, which I dub Robot Guys. And I really don't like Robot Guys. I'm not sure what it is about them that just makes them impossible to kill. But there's something. There's something. But that's besides the point. Next up is the first boss fight in the game, and probably the hardest. Tom. Less of a boss fight and more of a parkour challenge, but that doesn't really matter, because in my opinion, this fight is sick, as you really have to pay attention to surroundings, but as someone who's beaten Tom on hardcore mode, it wasn't really much of a struggle, and I was able to beat him quite easily to progress onto the elevator. Now that we are in the city, the aesthetic has completely changed, and with RTX on, it looks damn amazing. And it's here that we find railings to zipline on and a new drone enemy, which are basically basic shooters that fly and you can ride on. We also find a new uplink that lets us jump extremely high, but only once. Sigma rule number 9. Be high. Or something. Our next goal is to get to the repository, where Mara is hiding, so we can take her out once and for all.
So, back to my
In the next level, we are introduced to one of the hardest enemies in the entire game, which I dub Ninja Dudes. They essentially have a charge-up attack that makes them dash towards you, and you have to parry them, and this is the only way they can be hit. They are quite easy to defeat as long as you have the correct timing. And the funniest part about them is this goofy T-pose they do when you kill them. Our current goal is to reach the backup archive to the repository, so we can be strong enough to face Mara. As we progress through, we are introduced to a new enemy, the Sniper. The Sniper is only in a few sections in the game, but the ones he is in are some of the most annoying for whatever reason. Except for this one sniper later in the level. He was a chill dude. You're just not gonna shoot me? Just so you know, that was completely your fault. We eventually reach the backup archive, and of course it's another Cyber Void section, and the most annoying one in the entire game. We at least learn here that Mara built us and the architect designed us. After that painful experience, it turns out that it was all for nothing, as the data has already been stolen, and it turns out we meet the thief right outside. It's told to us that she's kind of like us, an imitation, only a poor one. A cheap knockoff. To follow the knockoff, we need fast transportation, because she is very fast, and to do that we need her to do a really cool parkour sliding section to jump onto a train. We thought the train would be empty, but unfortunately it wasn't, and we have to fight our way through to the top. After reaching the top, we have reached our destination, and we jump to get to the thief, in a very boss battle looking arena I might add, and we begin the first real boss fight in the game. It turns out that the thief is called Hell, and after a long and difficult boss fight, that only took me one attempt, but that doesn't matter, Hell is beheaded, and we can take her data, which can only mean another Cyber Void section, with a long and drawn out unnecessary tutorial. The ability is really cool, but still. After exiting the elevator, we are now in the lab, so we are getting very close to Mara. We are also introduced to the turret, which I wouldn't really call an enemy as they are stagnant, but they do kill you if you go into the blue dots, so you have to avoid them. We learned that the architect's real name was Adam when he was alive. It doesn't matter at all to the story, but I should mention that they are separate characters. We then finally get to the Forbidden Zone, a place where civilians have never gone, and Mara starts a surprise speech, where she explains what her research the past 20 years has been. Luckily, we get to meet one right as she says it. I dub these guys Kamikaze guys, because of what they do. Kamikaze. And they are my least favourite enemy in the entire game, because they never leave you alone, and there's no fun way to kill them. And they just flat out look horrendous. Which is what the devs were going for, obviously. No hate on the game there. Mara explains how everyone will be turned into these monsters eventually, so they can roam the outside world. We have one more upgrade to get before we can fight Mara, and of course this means another Cyber Void section. This one not being too bad, but it is long and confusing nonetheless. After this, we learned our new ability, and it's about as morally ethical as an SS Sniper Wolf video. We can hack people and literally make them fight on our side for a short period of time. Of course, we think it's a bad idea, but Architect does make a good point.
If you don't like it, don't
Back in the
use
real
it.
world, we continue to progress through the lab to reach Mara. And speaking of Mara, she says a buzzword that is sure to keep the kids watching.
But their supporters still walk among us.
It is here we meet another enemy that I dub the Teleporter, because it, well, teleports. Teleporters work in a similar way to the Hell boss fight, with its projectiles and constant moving. And for the second last enemy they introduce into the game, they are extremely easy to deal with. It is said on the announcement that Mara will be forcing everyone to become monsters after an hour, so we need to stop her quickly before it goes through. The final stretch is upon us, and it's only getting more difficult. Each section has more and better placed enemies than before. It is here we are introduced to another new enemy, called Splitters, which start off as one and then they split into 5. All of them can fire, but all but one is actually real and can kill you. But then again, they aren't actually that difficult. Mara keeps trying to chat shit the whole level, and Architect has had enough, and turns her off like a Sigma male.
She's just trying to sidetrack you again.
Sigma Rule 12. Ignore women. After going through this last elevator, we finally get to face Mara, the Tyrant. Yeah, it's a really underwhelming boss fight. Piss easy, and she doesn't even do much. She waves her tentacles like she's swatting away a fly, and not even like Walter White. She does it slowly, and it only takes her one strike to the chest, and she's done. I guess that's the game over then. We saved the day. I mean, there was no cocaine, but still, it was worth it. Wait, what the hell's going on? That's right, baby. Another epic parkour challenge in the form of a Cyber Void level? No, it can't be. But it is. Architect is trying to take over our body, but we are not gonna let that happen. I will beat this parkour like I beat children on Halloween. And after completing all the parkour, we kill Architect, and we die. Wait, that doesn't sound right. I know we don't exist without Cyber Void and all, but really? Oh yeah, he's alive. He grips a sword in the ending cutscene, and there's a whole last sequel out today with him very much alive. And with that, the game's over. And I guess so is this video. Wait, is the video 25 minutes yet? Shit! I guess we're playing the DLC as well then. So, do you remember Hell? You know, that boss? No? Fair enough, she was pretty easy. But still, do you want to play as her? No? Let me ask again. Do you want to play as her? Of course you do! Good job! Level 1 starts just as the base game does, with us being taken out of containment, with not a singular clue about what's going on, just like listening to Death Grips. The first level is a tutorial to all the new mechanics in the DLC, like the super high jumping and the surge ability. We play as Hell, one of the many bosses in Ghostrunner, and it's immediately brought to our attention that we are the bad guys this time round, as we are killing prisoners in a training course. Of course, our leader is Mara, and the story here is that Mara wanted to create 12 Ghostrunner-like machines, just with the human parts of the Ghostrunners taken out. We are one of them, and apparently, every single Hell is great at killing, but they are about as mentally stable as Nicky Kato Avocado, and he needs to be in a psychiatric hospital. Then we learn about another of Hell's abilities, that being a bonus shield, which allows us to take one hit if the rage meter is above 50%. It is here we learn about one of Mara's commanders, called Bakunin, is going against her and will likely be a threat later on. In the second level we are told to avoid casualties, so of course we obey and kill absolutely everybody. We are introduced to a new enemy here, which I dub the Flyer, because they fly. They shoot down on the floor grenades that explode after a short time. Bakunin then makes an announcement that he and his men will join the rebel army and fight against Mara, which means that we are going to have to deal with him. This is where the first puzzle section of the DLC occurs, and it's alright. It's better than the base game ones, and definitely better than this piece of shit. After the level, we are forced to face Bakunin, who has a lunge attack and a bomb attack like flyers. In the second stage, we are able to use his own men against him, as killing them charges up our rage meter, which allows us to use our surge attack on him. This makes him a pretty easy boss fight. At the end of the fight, there is a button mashing section, and I let my intrusive thoughts win after wondering this: what happens if I don't? It turns out nothing happens and you just can't lose. He goes for us once more and we plunge the blade right into him, defeating him instantly. After leaving the scene of the crime, we are told by Mara to stop the rebellion in Sector 4 by neutralizing everyone. It is here that we meet another new enemy that I dub the Hammers, because they have shockwave hammers. Are you slow? We proceed to get lectured by Mara because we weren't meant to kill Bakunin. But it's fine. My life's on a thin string. That's fine. At the end of the level, we find two climbers hiding. Mara wants us to find the leader of the climbers, so we interrogate them to find out who their leader is. We are told that their leader is Jack from Sector 5, so now it's our job to find him. Literally nothing happens in this level at all, except at the end where we find a climber base, and find Jack in it. Just to leave him alone though, so as I said, literally nothing happens. The same can be said about the next level. A leader of the climbers makes a speech, and that's pretty much it. Unless you want to count my cocky remarks as a key moment. I am actually so good at puzzle solving. Now what the fuck do I do? Time for the final boss of the DLC, that being the Golem. The Golem is definitely the hardest boss in the entire game, no questions asked. He has fast lasers, a gun that shoots fast, the projectiles last long and follow you, and the only way to damage him in this first stage is to wait for the right moment and to drop a bomb over him. About a tenth of the way through the fight, he tricks us and puts us under a bomb, causing us to fall and suffer heavy damage. We have to ask Mara for help and to activate stronger drivers. This allows us to use Surge infinitely in a very fun and tricky fight. We eventually defeat Golem and kill the person inside, and because of this we get cocky and want to challenge Mara, which was a bad idea, because what do you know, she has another hell that she makes kill you. But before any data can be taken from us, we jump into lava, presumably so Mara can't get her information. The end then takes us right back to the beginning of the base game, with the architect saying this:
You're alive.
So that's the DLC done. That was pretty good. I think I'm done now. Wait, is the video 25 minutes yet? God damn it! We're talking about the extra game modes now. I'm actually getting desperate. Kill Run is basically a speedrunner's paradise, where the whole goal is to compete to get the best times possible. Killing an enemy grants an extra 2 seconds, and time clocks add an extra second. Simple really. And if you are an elite gamer, you can even get an extra free glove and katana for your work. These were my best times, and if you can beat them, screw you. Wave mode is a game mode where there is 20 waves of enemies to kill. Each wave gets harder and harder, but you also get stronger and stronger as you're allowed to choose upgrades every wave. Some bad, like getting slightly more blink range, or something amazing like an extra shield, or being able to bypass the blocking of a ninja dude. And of course, if you complete round 20, you are given another katana and glove skin to show all your friends. Oh wait, you don't have any. Your cool skin collection. That is literally everything I can explain about the whole entire game. So what's my review? 0 out of 10. The reviews lied. There was no code. Well, now what am I gonna do if I can't find any code? Oh wait, maybe there is something else on Steam that I can get. I'm gonna check right now. Drugs and Crime Idol. Let's go. Screw Ghostrunner 2. I'm playing this from now on.